My father used to say, "Watch this man."
He's been cited by IGN, The Quartering, Timcast, The Daily Wire, Bounding Into Comics, and even Dr. Jordan B. Peterson.
As the insider WDW Pro recently speculated on.
Time and time again, he's broken big entertainment news live on the air.
I've been following WDW Pro and his track record for years. If you want to find out what's on the horizon for theme parks, Pro is where you go.
Morty, let's check in on Rian Johnson's new trilogy.
Okay. I bypassed the compressor.
What did you do, Ray? Son of a... That's gonna leave a mark.
Now, he was okay, after 6-7 weeks. Okay? They get over it. Kids are resilient like that.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It's the standard, what would George do?
I don't want you here.
So sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Blimey, you fools.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
Weird. Stay away from liquor, kids.
I have always liked Cowabunga.
Cowabunga!
Now that's more like it, Mr. Wayne.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
The Force will be with you, always.
That's how winning is done.
I am vengeance. I am the night.
That's what she said.
I am Batman.
If I won tonight, I would come home and we'd celebrate. Well, I'm coming home, we're celebrating. God bless you all.
Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. What we think, we become.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in just 2 minutes, the lighting at the Magic Kingdom will dim for the performance of the Pro Show. We hope you enjoy and have a magical, truthful time. For the safety of others, please, no flash photography. And welcome to Provision 3D.
Alrighty, everyone, put on your coffee glasses. Oh boy,
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
You know that you've been taught the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Yes, Paul.
Autobots, roll out.
I'm bringing the party to you.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money?
Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory.
We're gonna do it!
All right, it's time to go to school, son. Come on, get your hands up, man.
Are you okay?
They'll never take our freedom!
From the redwoods of California to the hills of Tennessee to the Rockies in the Sunshine State and Maine with that bright and shining sea. From coast to coast in North America, it's time for your host with the most, bringing you all the entertainment news that should be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the WDW Pro Show! Hello, folks, and welcome back to another dandy of an evening here on the Pro Channel. It's the Pro Show back again, and we are here with Vash Sky. Get your umbrella ready, sir. It is raining super chats and gifted memberships. By the way, folks, we are at, today, about 500,000 views in the last 24 hours here on the channel. And judging by the fact that we have 8 billion or so people on the planet, yes, we're still just getting started. 300 of you out there in the chat across YouTube and X, and we are happy no matter where you're at. Welcome aboard. The welcome mat is there. Cashew's out by the door, and you're welcome to hop on in. Vash, how are you tonight?
I am doing just fine there, Pro. Pro, you're coming in a little soft on my end. I don't know if you want to go ahead and adjust that, but that's just what I'm noticing right now.
Hang on a second. Lauren, am I coming in soft on your side?
Just slightly. It's not really low, but you are lower than Bash.
I'll be darned. Okay. Hang on a second, folks. Hang on. We're going to get that fixed. We'll get it fixed. Lauren, you get out of here. We got to introduce him. We can't do it that way. It just won't work that way. All right. Let's see. Fixing the old audio. Edit mic settings. Make Pro sound loud again. Check on the 3, check on the 2. How do we sound now? Vash, better?
You're still about the same. Yeah, I tried to adjust you in StreamYard as well, but that wasn't quite working out.
Check. You're right. We are a little soft. All right, folks, we're going to adjustify 1-800-ADJUSTIFY, and that'll do it right there, I would say. All right. Well, we'll get underway, folks. And Vash, we sounding A-okay now?
I think we're sounding a lot better right there.
Okay,
but,
good.
You know what sounds really good, bro? All of the amazing people who have gifted all kinds of stuff for us, whether it be memberships, whether it be donations via Super Chat, and our amazing panelists, however you want to roll.
All right, well, Vash, it is time to bring on a panel of excellence who are ready to tie the Holly Weirds in the knots they know not what is coming for them.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and bring on some of the panelists right now. You know him. You love him. You may have even seen him. It is the one, the only, Lauren Connor. Hello there, Lauren.
I'm back.
I did not know you were going to be on the show until just now. Hello, Lauren.
Hello. Glad to see you.
Glad to see you, sir.
Just didn't even notice. It was really, really well done right there. Thank you, Lauren, for coming on. And you know him. You love him. And he is... Man, he's a big man with a big presence on this show. I really do love this guy, and I'm every time he speaks, his opinion, it's just I can't help but fall in love with it.
Is it safe to say you have a big heart for this big man?
I do.
Are we bringing on Tiny? It is. It's Tiny.
Hello, Tiny.
No one the only coming to
How you guys doing, Vash? I love you too, man.
We're better now that you're here, sir.
Absolutely.
Always. This is very quickly becoming my favorite night of the week, or one of my favorite nights of the week. Thursday's technically my favorite, but this is ranking up there. This is 1A versus 1B.
Woohoo! We'll take it. Vash, we'll take one more panelist as well.
And one of the reasons why it's becoming your favorite night of the week is because we have somebody, and you know him, and you love him. He is the one, the only, Nolan Thunder. Nolan Thunder.
Hello, everybody. How we all doing here?
Happy to have you aboard, Nolan. And folks, we are going to get underway with so much. Also, don't go anywhere because at midnight, we are launching 4 new songs on Vacation Radio, which is where we will be sending you again at midnight tonight. Vash, again, we have so many super chats, so many gifted memberships. It's ridiculoso. So let's put them up on the screen like we know to do.
Let's go ahead and do it. From M2M with $5, I saw Niza 1 on Sunday. It's a fantastic animated movie, funny and heart-stirring. Nisa 2 is showing in USA theaters this weekend only. Go, Nisa.
Yeah, absolutely. And we hope it'll do quite well, especially over the Valentine's Day weekend. Looking like Captain America or Captain Non-America might struggle. We'll see how that goes as well, but it opens the door to Paddington and more if the Stars and Stripes do not wipe the floor with the other movies.
I have no, I'm not really thinking Captain America Stunning and Brave is going to really move the box office there. So I don't think that's going to happen. I like that, by the way. Rare Oswald gave me that. Packing Protons with $5 sent Mr. Elon a note asking, quote, wouldn't it be a big story if Disney got money from USAID? Would be.
Now, wait a minute. Folks, it's almost like Packing Protons is on my Patreon. We know that Disney got money from USAID. They did. It went to National Geographic. And then, not only that, but Packing, follow that up with Elon by saying to him that, yeah, Pro is covering the fact that apparently the Department of Defense has been paying a subsidiary of Disney big money. Big money. Way more than the Nat Geo story. And we're just trying to figure out what Buena Vista Non-Theatrical Incorporated is up to exactly.
Interesting. Really interesting. Thank you so much, Packing Protons. And last call with Trey Pacelli, I believe. Member for 9 months. 9 months, and y'all haven't gotten tired of me yet. Of course not. Can never get tired of you.
We could never, Troy. And Troy, lovely to have spent some time at MegaCon around someone such as you.
Fantastic. And somebody who may not have been MegaCon, I'm not sure. Cliff Flicks with $10. Now that Burbank is no longer woke, supposedly, LOL, is Tokyo Splash Mountain finally safe? How about the rivers of America? I suspect the answer is nope.
Well, Cliff, you and I talked about this, and yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. I do not think that they are safe whatsoever because they made plans and they're not ready to abort those plans. But we are here to tell them that when they announce these sorts of things and do so in secret, away from the big stage, they come across as, well, you know him from the Muppets going, bork, 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 and he's not the smartest of the characters there.
It's so sad. It's so tragic. I really don't know what the status on those projects are going to be. I'm guessing that they've invested a ton of money into them already, developing them and so forth. So it's going to take more than getting rid of maybe Reimagine Tomorrow or Our Stories Matter to stop those projects, unfortunately. Hate it.
That's right. And it was very nice to meet Cliff. Happy to have had the chance to meet you, sir.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm so jealous. Gilliam II gifting 5 WDW Pro memberships. Awesome stuff. Thank you.
That's right. He looks like a punching bag, but he's the kind that punches back. You gotta love it.
Love it, love it, love it. King of the Monsters, 1954 with 199 with a U.S. salute.
That's right. Saluting the red, white, and blue for the power of the 199. Yes, it is the Gulf of America.
Absolutely. Oh, man. Unless you're the AP, then something else. Paul with $2. Walton has sent us with one of his secret tunnels.
Egads. Egads, he's gained access yet again.
Go fund yourself, Bob.
Dang it, Wilton. Good stuff right there. And, well, last call with Troy Pacelli actually has a $20 super chat along with his 9-month membership right there. I was told I met you this weekend, Pro. I don't remember anyone with a pixelated lower face, but there was this really one smart, really nice guy who walked really fast. I was told he was Doomcock, though. Nice guy.
I have no idea who that was, but I will say that I was introduced to X-Wing at MegaCon. For those of you who are joining and did not watch the Culture Casino 30K celebration, you won't have heard this story. Those who were tuning in for Culture, you've already heard this, but I'll say quickly that we decided to play a prank on X-Wing. Now, you all, if you've watched the channel very often, you know that X-Wing has a glorious mustache. And so as he came up to me, the prank was they told X-Wing that I'm Doomcock. So he walks up to me being introduced to Doomcock, and I reached out with both hands and just started twisting his mustache. Reason being, I wanted him to wonder, like, is Doomcock a psycho? And then once he had that look of fear in his eyes, everybody around us that we all said, no, it's Pro. And I took my hands off his stash and said, no, I'm not crazy, man, and brought him in and all that. Lots of fun, lots of fun. It was a great time at MegaCon.
Fantastic.
Great to have spent time with you, Troy. Apologies for the lack of banana breath on the Kong ride.
Oh, that's good stuff. I remember that banana breath. It was so good. But speaking of so good, John Maynor gifting 20 WDW Pro memberships. Thank you so much, John.
That's right. John Maynor is the right kind of pirate, the kind who takes you to the seven seas. When a pirate shares his treasure with you, know that it came at a cost, even from the likes of someone such as Captain John Maynor. There you go. Thank you, John. Thank you so much. And of course, you continue to be a great supporter of the channel. Folks, we are down to just a few necessary memberships left before YouTube will give us another emoji. We did check, and it was just a teeny tiny itsy bitsy bit short, but we'll get there soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, John, for that. Jay Prez, member for 8 months. Best news outlet on the interwebs. Lizzie.
Well, thank you, Jay Prez, and happy to have had the honor of your presence for 8 months. It is truly a pleasure here.
Absolutely. And Staccato DDS with $10. What a great streaming day. All my favorites live today. Well, you're one of our favorites too, Staccato. Thank you so much for coming on in, joining us for the live stream. Thank you.
That's right, Staccato. You are keeping the plaque of the entertainment industry off our pearly whites. Thank you, Staccato. Greatly appreciated.
And that wraps us up there, Pro. We have, we have honored the people that we want to honor. Your show is yours.
I want to honor everyone, Vash. I only wish I had the time. I would start with the phone book for Tulsa, Oklahoma, and just start there. I don't know why. I just like the people of Tulsa. You know what else, though? I like the people of Star Wars, or at least I used to. Things, though, they are a-changin', and Lucasfilm, they be deranging and refusing to go with the flow of switching over to a world where DEI is demised. Folks, we begin. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. That didn't work. Folks, technical problems. Hang on a second. We're going to do an e-stop. Well, look at that. Look at that. Glorious. And it's in smell-o-vision. Folks, take a sniff of your device. No, we kid. All right, let's get started. This out of That Park Place is by Marvin Montanaro, and this is going to be one of those that Lauren just can't wait to get into. Daisy Ridley seemingly confirms upcoming Rey New Jedi Order Star Wars movie will be political in nature. Yay! Claims all Star Wars is political. Daisy Ridley has seemingly confirmed that her upcoming New Jedi Order Star Wars Rey movie will be overtly political, following comments made by the film's new writer, George Nolfi. Now, if you're keeping score, folks, depending on how you want to measure this, old George, not Lucas, might be number 3. He might be number 4 in the old writers list of people who have come to the OK Rey Canal and decided that they couldn't ride the horse and they're done with it. They're done. KK sent them out and lassoed another person to come on in. As Lucasfilm struggles with audience fatigue and declining interest, it appears the studio is once again prioritizing messaging over storytelling. I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you. Nolfi, the third writer to take on the troubled project, well, he's going with 3 instead of 4, recently spoke with Film Stories about his vision for Star Wars, stating, if you think about George Lucas, the 6 movies that he did and the universe that he created, it's actually very steeped in broad notions of politics. It's not talking about today per se, but there's the Empire's Yahtzee/Roman Empire. This perspective was eagerly endorsed by Ridley, that's Daisy, when she was speaking with Inverse. I feel like the Star Wars films are all political, she said. I feel like it's the individual versus the big corporation or the big group, so I think they always have been. And ultimately, I think the films are emotional in that it's good and evil, which we all can relate to very specifically in our day-to-day lives. But yes, I do feel those conversations are woven within the story, and I'm very excited to see what George does. Hold on a second, Lauren. I'm coming to you, but I'm going to make a point here, and you tell me what you think about it. We'll all do the dance with this big idea. And the big idea is that if we go to Daisy Ridley says, she says they're all political, and then she talks about it's good and evil. Lauren, I think this points to the problem. These people associate politics with good and evil. They live in a world in which their political opponents are evil and they're good. Now, I don't know Daisy Ridley's point of view. I'm not assuming that I know it. But what I'm saying is that politics should be about policy. And in a good world, and when politics is rightfully where it should be, you don't have to wade into the issues of good and evil because you've got political differences, you've got policy differences. But we live in a world today where we're so divided that it is seen in such an abstract and stark way. I think, Lauren, the original Star Wars films are about philosophy and allegory. They're about archetypal storytelling. Lauren, have I missed the boat completely?
No, but I think the problem when you get into a conversation like this is that it's easy to try and simplify it to one thing or another. It's actually more complex than that. I think that Lucas obviously had his own politics, but he wasn't beating you over the head with it, which is part of why it worked. He dealt in kind of general themes of politics and introduced to the audience the idea that perhaps you should be skeptical about your politicians, which I think is good advice, no matter which party that you're part of. At the same time, I would never say that the Emperor and Darth Vader were not evil, and I think that's actually a way that the sequel trilogy went wrong, is they, in a lot of ways, looked like they were trying to make the First Order, the successor to the Empire, sympathetic, and that was never going to work. So I agree broadly with Daisy that, yes, Star Wars is political, but it's not overtly taking a side. It's sort of gently nudging one particular side because Lucas did have his politics, but it was not the kind of thing where it was an us versus them kind of a thing. It certainly wasn't a scolding kind of a political diatribe. It wasn't a sit down, Poe Dameron, because you're a toxic male kind of a thing. It was, these people who are supposed to be our representatives in government are not acting in our best interest. They are suppressing our voices. They are eating our food out of our mouths, and we have to rebel against them because they will not carry out their duties as our elected representatives. And it is time to stage a revolution to rebuild the foundation of government so that it acts in the people's interests. That's all it is. And it's not a right thing. It's not a left thing. It's a representative government is a good idea. Be skeptical of your politicians.
Kevin, the way I've often looked at it is that Star Wars in its basal form for the first three films, maybe even in the prequels, that it's taking the idea of authenticity and facing that off against oppression. Am I wrong about that? Or did you just see this as Democrat versus Republican when you watched the first three the first time?
I think you're correct. I mean, even when you look at the prequels, again, George has his politics. And when you look at, I think it's pretty easy to see some things that may not have been intentional given how people were during the Bush era. But I look at the prequels more of like a cautionary tale about how if you're not paying attention, how quickly you can lose. You lose your democratic government. And I think where the prequels, rather where the sequels went off the rails was the trying to insist that the First Order was this mega threat, that they were partially sympathetic, and that that Kylo was this tortured figure, when in reality, if you look at kind of like if you break down like kind of what Lucas did and how he used history to frame everything, it would have made more sense if the First Order was more akin to the Taliban as opposed to just carrying over what was going on with the Empire. It's, yes, you struggled at during the post days of World War II. There was still a lot to clean up, but in reality, when you look at real time, they're not going to still be fighting the leftover painters, henchmen, Painter's Henchman 40 something years later, it would have evolved into something else, and it would have been a little more political intrigue. Like, just to wrap it up, keep it short. I think George, used politics as a mechanism to deliver a little bit of extra intrigue into the story, not do this as this is left versus right, this is good versus evil. And this is where current day Lucasfilm really struggles. They are true believers. They believe in every label that they throw out there, and if you don't agree, you are the issue, not them.
Now, Vash, you were given some data in terms of something that's changed at Lucasfilm. Do you have it ready? Are you ready to put that up on the screen? Give him a minute.
Yeah.
We'll go to, okay. Here we go. Vash, I see you've got it ready. All right, Vash, put that up on the screen real quick, and let's talk for a minute, because something that very few are discussing has changed at Lucasfilm. Vash, tell us what it is.
I guess so. This from Screen Rant. New Lucasfilm era takes shape with major leadership change going back to Disney's acquisition 2012. Despite Thomas Bacon over here at Screen Rant, a surprising shakeup at Lucasfilm sees Rain Roberts depart to Searchlight Pictures, with newcomer Derek Hoffman taking over as Vice President of Development. It feels like a time of change over at Lucasfilm. The various TV shows and movies announced back in 2020 have essentially wrapped up, some completed to mixed success, while others have been canceled. Most are viewing this year's Star Wars celebration as the beginning of a relaunch, with 2026 The Mandalorian and Grogu kicking off a new era for the studio. We also heard that the internal memo within Disney talking about how they're going to be rebranding their efforts regarding stuff like Reimagined Tomorrow, Stories Matter. That was also sent to Lucasfilm, if I'm not mistaken. I do think there's kind of a new era. And here's the thing about Daisy Ridley's comments about the political nature of Star Wars. I do agree with Kevin. I do agree with Lauren that the political aspect of the prequel trilogy, for example, right, that was a framework to tell a story. And while there may have been allegories to maybe something going on, contemporary to that time, the rise of tyranny and the fall of liberty, that's kind of a story that's played out over and over and over again in throughout history, right? And so that's a story that many people can actually resonate with. I think where, like Kevin Apollo was saying, where Lucasfilm can't get out of their own way sometimes is when, I don't know, you have like a Fiona Shaw, for example, for Andor saying, this series is all about Trump. And then guess what? Nobody watches it. That's definitely a big problem. So if this Screen Rant article is correct, that this is a new era for Lucasfilm, well, then I think Lucasfilm could definitely benefit from a new line of thinking.
All right, let me go to Lauren. And Nolan, apologies. I know I'm holding you off a little bit longer than I would like to. I really want to get your thoughts. But Lauren, you understand a little bit more about this person who's left Lucasfilm and why it might be pertinent to the discussion. What do you think about this?
Well, this person is going to be replacing Rain Roberts, who, as the article says, is leaving for Searchlight Pictures. As I understand it, Rain Roberts was sort of a lieutenant for Curie Hart, who previously headed up the story group. I think this is probably a good change. I don't know very much about Derek Hoffman. It does say in this article that he was attached to some of the better X-Men movies, and I know that he did some mutant-related work in TV, but I'm not familiar with his work personally. So I'm kind of looking at this as this may be a change, but it's difficult for me to know what kind of a change it is. I just don't have enough familiarity with his work. I do think it's interesting, though, that he's being brought in what looks like an integral role for content development. And that makes me wonder, are they looking to get away from some of the Filoni stuff? Now, I think that on the org chart, Filoni's probably still a little higher up, but it does make me wonder if they're having some second thoughts about the direction they've been going.
Absolutely. Nolan, let me bring you in and your thoughts on the idea that in spite of everything we're seeing in entertainment right now and Disney rolling back DEI, and by the way, I think they're pragmatically, substantially changing things. Like, I don't see any other way you can look at it if they completely get rid of Reimagine Tomorrow. It's not just a rebranding. Like, they've completely removed it. It's gone. That's something, and I don't see a replacement. Nolan, at a time such as this, what do you think about the idea that Star Wars would double down in the dumb of partisanship?
I think it just at the end of the day goes all the way back to leadership. We know a lot of people in organizations or in politics currently are drifting around. You know, they're just going by they had these core values that they were about ready to die on the soapbox for. And then as we see the moment political leadership changes, they completely zip out of that. As far as it seems the most stubborn are usually those who have been with a company for a very long time and are a bit older. And as we always say, Kathleen Kennedy likely isn't going to be fired. She's going to be retiring. And I think that also goes back to philosophy in I don't think she is ever going to change. So until they get her out of the door, I don't think we're going to see this really impact Lucasfilm, because I think if, say, Iger, which I'll believe when I see it, comes to her and be like, hey, we need some major changes going on here, kind of like how Marvel's been kind of course correcting, I think she might opt for retirement before we see that. So until I see the day that the news of her leaving is going to be there, I'm still a bit hesitant. Maybe I've just been a little too damaged at this point to get optimistic for Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't think they've earned back any opportunity for us to just give them, another chance. The chances are done. The chances were done about 4 years ago and we are done until something is done to fix the entire franchise leadership and all. All right, folks, it's time for us to heed the call and get to Super Chats. But before we do, we've got to fix an audio issue or two, because it turns out we've been doing some tech checks behind the scenes, and it's poor old StreamYard. It's our system that we use for Pro and for everybody else that's causing me to be a little soft on the audio, and that means we've got to do a reset where I hop out of here. Before I do, we'll send you for a vacation radio ad, and that'll give us the chance to fix this. On the flip side of this, hopefully I don't blow out the speakers. Here we go, folks.
Jump into the water!
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.
All right, check 1, 2, 3. Am I sounding better, Vash?
And a little low still. Let me go ahead and turn you up just a little bit. Go ahead.
Very professional, ladies and gentlemen. We are not doing audio checks on the fly. We never would do such a thing. It's all part of some giant prank that we're planning to pull on you. Folks in the chat, let us know how we sound now. Are we good? Are we bad? And makes us sad to see that over here on the soundboard panel I have, the flashing lights say that I'm coming in bright. But oh no, the chat says that I'm quiet again. All right, well, we'll crank the volume all the way up as high as we can with StreamYard and figure out what's going on in time for the show tomorrow. We'll have to move on, though. Oh, Vash, you've pulled me all the way up. There we go. Okay, that's where we'll stay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks.
I'm guessing this is going to probably be a sneak preview of when this show's been on for like 60 years and all our audiences are in retirement homes. They're being like, turn up the TV. I can't hear Pro.
By the way, we only lost 50 people to the ad. Usually when you play an ad, that's why, folks, this is inside baseball a little bit. If you play an ad during a live stream, people don't like it. And so you'll lose a ton of your consumers if you play any kind of ad. That's why it doesn't work the same way as TV, where you've got commercials all the time. We only lost 50 of you on that. That's wonderful. Thank you for sticking around for us. All right, Vash, let's get the next super chats up on the screen.
Absolutely. It's Neil 89 with the $5. Oh no! No more subsidizing attempts to pass off being a creep as a virtue. Guess I won't be able to order that skin suit then. How sad. How very sad indeed.
You can definitely still order a skin suit. You just won't be getting virtue points for it.
Perfect, Lauren. Thank you so much for the good amount of advice there. Hacking Protons with another $5. Possibly breaking news. Just saw an email saying Paramount Networks won't be on YouTube TV due to deal issues, including CBS. Whoa. Pretty big.
Well, just when you thought the day couldn't get worse for CBS. Just when you thought it could not get worse. I don't know. I mean, people, listen, CBS is really in trouble. CBS has a total value of $6 billion estimated. And they're currently facing a $20 billion lawsuit from the President of the United States. And the FCC is investigating them. And they're for sale. And the sale may be blocked by the government now. CBS is in serious trouble.
I don't know what you do if you're CBS. Oh, man. A string of bad.
By the way, Vash, I think someone out there is taking it to the mainstream media, which CBS clearly is. Who you gonna call? Who you gonna call? Who you gonna call? Who you gonna call?
That's exactly who I'm going to call. Thank you so much, Packing Protons, for that. Steve C., member for 20 months. I think woke is dead, like Hydra was in Captain America 2.
I guess, and Hydra might be metaphor, might be imagery of the fact that there are many heads on the beast you wish to slay.
Indeed. Cut off one head, two more will take its place, that kind of thing. But no, I do actually agree with that assessment. I think it is going away. I'll put it that way. Ken Barnes with the $5. I hated when people used a certain scene from Revenge of the Sith after the election. The accounts that are supposed to be fandom, but went political.
Boy, didn't they, and boy, did it ever cost them badly. But just think about all of the accounts and the sites and the vlogs and the blogs that decided they were going to go full blown crush the conservatives. Didn't play out so well over time, I would say.
Indeed, it did not.
And
that was a
too,
miscalculation.
Vash, you'll notice too, here on this channel, we're pretty tough on woke. But classical liberals, listen, everybody's welcome here of almost every political and ideological stripe. It's just that we disagree fundamentally with wokeism because wokeism believes in anti-meritocracy. Well, we can't believe in anti-meritocracy because we're here to judge and review and critique art. Well, what is art? Art is definitely a merit-based effort to reach up and obtain a goal that is higher than oneself, to transcend, if you will.
Indeed. Antithetical.
Transcending, Vash. You always transcend.
Oh, you're too kind. But speaking of somebody who has transcended for 20 months, let's cheer my Hembry. I play two games that I've really enjoyed, Marvel Rivals and Power Rangers Cosmic Rewind. Oh, okay. The only thing I don't like about Marvel Rivals is that Dean Shark, they need to get rid of him other the map. I've enjoyed the games.
Jeremiah, I think that Jeff has tossed you off the map one too many times, and you're just tired of that little flipper. That little mother flipper just comes on by and gets you and grabs you up and spits you off the map, and it's not okay anymore, is it? That's why I play as Rocket, because I don't believe in cheap, gimmicky, spammy kind of moves. I believe in Rocket.
He's a bad mother flipper right there. Thank you so much, Jeremiah, for that. Clifflix with $10. Is the American Heartland Park dead on arrival? Have you heard any news about it? I was so excited to see all the Blue Sky work on it. We need a pro-America park like that. It was awesome to meet you as well.
Well, thank you, Cliff. And as best we know, the latest we've heard is that things are moving forward with the America Heartland Park, and they're starting with campgrounds. So that's, as best we know, the latest data we have, the latest info is, yes, they are moving forward on it.
I really do hope it comes along because I know a lot of ex-Imagineers are working on it. That'd be really cool to see. Neil89 with $2. They do not have momentum. Good luck.
They're going to need it. They're going to need it.
They are. Ken Tobias with the $4.99. Tubi. What Tubi got was an average of 13.6 million viewers for its live stream of Fox's Super Bowl 59 telecast Sunday. Whoa!
So that's the joy of Tubi, right? Tubi isn't paying almost anything for content creation, but Tubi is raking in the cash. And there have been many months when Tubi just about beat Disney Plus in terms of viewership, ratings, and market share, and at maybe 1/1000th of the investment cost.
So really, when you're evaluating your streaming services, what you really need to ask yourself is to be or not to be.
Lord.
Good. Folks, can we get that on a t-shirt? TUBI or not TUBI. I think they may have that trademarked. We might get in trouble.
Yeah, well, if they don't, we sell it. There you go. Cliff Flicks with $10. Trump needs to sign an executive order declassifying the secrets as to why Kathleen Kennedy is still at Lucasfilm. That would be, I'd like to see that one. That mystery is darker and runs deeper than JFK, Jeff Epp, and the city files. How about that?
Yeah, and Cliff, I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to spend a lot of time reading your super chat. I'm busy typing away right now, seeing if Tubi.com is taken, and unfortunately, it does appear that some scoundrel already owns Tubi. And let's see. Yep, it just as I was worried about, Tubi owns Tubi. That dramatically lowers the chances they're going to sell it to us.
Dang. Well, there you go.
We were that close, Vash. We were almost gajillionaires.
Oh, Tubi or not Tubi? That's the real question right there. Flying Blind Rocket Cycle with $5. Hail! Came over from the Floro show, signing off tonight. Have a great show. You too, sir.
Flying Blind, I have seen now your clip, and it is almost finished. Maybe tomorrow. I'm not 100%, but I will tell you that I love your rocket, sir, that you have on your rocket cycle in the clip. So it's got a lot of power there, sir. I'm worried about you. I think you will be too after you see the video.
That sounds like an amazing clip, by the way. It's just so much visual imagery. And that just about does it here over the Super Chats.
Vash, you remember the bike that Pee-wee wanted to ride?
Yes.
Think about that bike, but all in black, with a massive Elon Musk style rocket attached to it. People are going to be injured, I'll just tell you. All right, folks, we got to get to the next story. Thank you for hanging with us. If we're having audio issues still, of course, on my side, I'm blasting out my headphones hearing myself. So, I mean, it's really something, but we do it for you. All right, here is our story. It is out of CBS News as we continue to cover the end of DEI and potentially the end of the woke era, specifically at Disney. CBS News, who we hope they can stay in business for at least 2 more days, Caitlin O'Kane, who is no longer subsidized by USAID, has the article here. Disney adding disclaimer about racist stereotypes to old movies. Now, wait a minute, folks. Wait a minute. Look at this. Look at this. October 19th, 2020, just following the summer of love. Disney adding disclaimer about racist stereotypes to some old movies. Now, of course, we're in 2025, so we're going back in time to see what the original was. This is what they put on their classic movies that Walt made, and if you don't think this meant that Walt was what they said about his movies, think again. Disney Plus had this on there. This program includes negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures. Now, you think about that for a minute. Think about if Coca-Cola put out a product and on the can it said, this soda includes negative mistreatment and poor health consequences. Jeez Louise. These stereotypes were wrong then, take that, Walt, and are wrong now. Rather than remove this content, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact. Yeah, that's why, it's why you don't give swords to kiddos, right? But rather than remove it, we want to acknowledge that it sucks, that it's trash, it's garbage. It is a scourge upon humanity. Learn from it and spark conversation to create a more inclusive future together. Now,
not to mention continue to profit from it.
Exactly. So what did they apply that to? The Aristocats, Dumbo, Peter Pan, Swiss Family Robinson. By the way, they also included Aladdin and others. Well, that's how it was. Let's see how it's going today. Are we ready for this? Here we go, folks. Take a look at a variety. Well, 2025, how are you? Disney Plus to change content warnings ahead of Dumbo, Peter Pan, and more old movies amid DEI strategy shift. Oh, it appears that Disney has learned a lesson. Too bad it wasn't swift enough to save them from some real drama. Disney is adjusting the content warnings ahead of some of its old movies, including Peter Pan and Dumbo, amid an overall shift in DEI strategy at the company following President Donald Trump taking office again. And yes, this does indeed mean that Elon Musk defeated Bob Iger. As first reported by Axios and confirmed by Variety, Disney is changing the disclaimer that autoplays before these titles. The previous version noted the film was, well, awful, as we read. Came out in November of 2019, was announced, though, in October. So what's it say now? What does it say now? Let's go find out. It has reverted the content warning back to a version of the one inserted in 2019. Well, sort of. They actually neutered it even more, okay? Let's see. Where's it at? You know what? We'll go to the panel while I search for it. I'm sure I accidentally skipped over it. Panel, what do you think about the fact that Disney is tucking tail this quickly? And how many? We're 3 weeks into the Trump presidency, and they're already doing all these things, trying to cover their bohunkuses.
It is interesting, isn't it? This is a fascinating story because it's just only a few hours ago we were actually covering both the Reimagine Tomorrow website and the Stories Matter initiative on that Park Place. We were actually bringing it up and showing all the audience, hey, look, all these sites are still here, and guess what? My computer was nice enough to cache these things, so I can go to these sites, or at least a representation of them. You can see right here, just like Pro said, Aristocats is on this list. Dumbo was on this list. Peter Pan was on this list. Swiss Family Robinson was on this list. And it didn't just stop at the content available on Disney Plus. It actually extended to the parks themselves, like redoing the Peter Pan sequence at Walt Disney World's Peter Pan in order to better, reflect the image as okayed by the Stories Matter group right here. So it was awful.
Hover your cursor over Peter Pan for a minute, Vash. Sure. And then I've got the new quote. I want to explain something to people. First of all, I'm not going to defend the Aristocats, okay? And I'm not going to defend, by the way, the unedited original version of Fantasia. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
There are things in Disney's catalog. By the way, Song of the South is not one of them. But there are things in Disney's catalog that if you go back, they do have some things in there that I would say are not okay. But I want to explain this Peter Pan thing. It miffs me. It irks me, as the kiddos 10 years ago used to say. Here's the deal. Take a look at the chief there in Peter Pan. And I'm here to tell you that's not a Rossist depiction. And because everybody's going to know this when I say it. Think about Mr. Smee for a minute. Mr. Smee is someone depicted as of European descent. Think about Captain Hook for a minute. Think about the way they're depicted. Giant noses, they look awful, right? The reason that the adults, including the chief in the Peter Pan movie, the reason that they are presented the way they are is because they are presented as adults who live in Neverland. How does Peter view adulthood? Peter sees turning into an adult, into a grown-up, as an abomination. It's a monstrosity. He wants to stay young forever. So he views adults in monstrous ways. So all of the adults in Neverland look that way. They're not trying to be offensive with the chief. They're trying to stay consistent to the idea that the adults are either bumbling buffoons or monstrosities in the eyes of the kids who live in Neverland. All right, that's enough of me harping on that. Let me show this real quick, and we'll go back to my screen. Here's what they're using now. It says, and the reason I missed this is because they broke it up. Why they did that, I don't know. All right, so here's what it says. This program is presented as originally created in May. That's the key thing that Disney is doing here, so that they're not maligning their stuff. The new one says, and Disney Plus, This program is presented as originally created and may contain stereotypes or negative depictions. And the reason this is such a neutered comment is because stereotypes exist in everything, everywhere, all the time. Stereotypes are the way that you manage to constrain things into sort of caricatures perhaps, using parameters. Yes, I'm mispronouncing on purpose, folks. So that you can understand the world. There are simple, basic ways of doing it. Some are negative stereotypes, some are positives, but that's the reality we live in. All right, panel, let me hand it to you, and you continue on. Disney has clearly, quickly, swiftly made big changes to their disclaimers, and it seems to be part of this overall sweeping effort. What make you of what Disney's up to?
And they go ahead and put a disclaimer for the old disclaimer, like, we were wrong then, we're probably wrong now, so don't listen to any of our politics.
Disney does not have wrong in their vernacular.
I think go ahead, Kevin.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I think that they're just sort of reading the room, and I suspect that the investors are probably getting a little more agitated. The death of DEI and woke and all of that stuff is when it stops being seen as cool within a subset of the population. And right now, DEI and woke is deeply not cool. In fact, now it just looks like an awful lot of whining. And before you weren't able to say that publicly, or at least a lot of people didn't. And so everybody kind of kept quiet and went along with it. Now people are saying, we're done with this. This isn't cool. You guys are a bunch of monsters. And a company is not going to want to be seen in that category. So they're modifying their behavior for now. As soon as it started to appear popular again, they'll trot it right back out. And that's going to be the same for any corporation. It's not just a Disney thing. This is, you always want to appeal to the broadest segment that you possibly can, so you're going to go along with the in thing. And for that reason, I don't think any of this is permanent, but they are reading the room and seeing that right now it's probably best to maybe shut up for a little while.
You know, they've almost watered down this disclaimer to the point that I expect any moment for them to come out and say, we've got a new one. This program may contain heuristics. Like, that's where we are now, you know, like, this program may feature mental shortcuts. That's where, you know, it's so tepid as to be meaningless. And the only reason, Kevin, that they still have a disclaimer, I believe, is so they can say to those who are angry at them for changing it, no, we still have a disclaimer. We just shortened it for brevity. We want people to be able to read it. We found out, Kevin, here at the house of, hang on a second, let me switch, ready? Hey, Kevin, we found out that people weren't reading the disclaimer because it had too many words, so we changed it, and it has nothing to do with, Orange Man bad. That's the situation. Thank you, South Park. Kevin, it's lunacy, isn't it?
Oh, 110%. I think a lot of this worked initially, well, or at least they felt it worked initially, because before new media got its footing and really kind of broke through, they were able to bury context, and context is king in anything and everything you're doing. So we could take Peter Pan, for example, and lean heavily into this particular group's narrative that everything you see in here is offensive, but ignore that, you're supposed to be looking at the adults through Peter's point of view. So we can throw the disclaimer up, make sure that everybody who wanted the checklist and all that, give everybody the warm fuzzies. Look at how great and wonderful we are. But ignore that group over there that's saying this is ridiculous, don't do it. They never anticipated being defeated, so thoroughly, so embarrassingly. This was not just a political defeat for them. This was a moral defeat for them. And they are scrambling to backpedal because they have, as Ricky Ricardo would say, they have a lot of splaining to do because they did a lot of damage. They did a lot of damage to a lot of IPs, to a lot of careers. And this is, to me, this is just a smokescreen to say, hey, I'm sorry-ish we didn't do anything wrong, but we're sorry-ish. And for the the loud blue hairs who are going to scream all day, look, it's still here. You don't have to scream as loud. You're going to scream because you can't be pleased, but you don't have to scream as loud.
What's funny about you bringing up Ricky Ricardo is that could you imagine them putting a disclaimer in front of "I Love Lucy"?
I know.
So I want to put this up on the screen. This is from Clifflix for 5, and it fits in with the conversation so well that I feel like we just have to talk about this. Cliff says, "Is there any chance in heck that Burbank will bring back ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? If they did, the woke crowd would explode." Now, Cliff is referring to the fact that in the parks, they decided they had to get rid of quote unquote gendered language, unquote. So, folks, if you've ever taught your child to say sir or ma'am, if you've ever thought about saying, "Excuse me, gentlemen," those are all gendered words and you're not appropriate and not acceptable at the House of Mouse. Cliff, by the way, folks, get over there and subscribe to Clifflix, the YouTube channel, today. But Clifflix, I'm with you on this. Until Disney is willing to drop this stuff where they say dreamers of all ages, like it's so convoluted. It's just such a, yes, it's semantic gymnastics. Like when they're ready to go back to ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the lights in the Magic Kingdom, let's do that again. Then we'll see how this plays out. As of right now, switching the disclaimer is, well, it's a step in the right direction, but we got to get rid of the rest of the insanity that has infiltrated this company. Vash, any chance you think they change back to ladies and gentlemen?
I think there's a decent chance. I think Disney has heard loud and clear that a lot of this, modern stuff didn't quite work out the way that they thought that it would. I think there's a pretty decent chance of that. A lot of people have been asking for, hey, can we get a re-theme of Janice by Adventure back to Splash Mountain? There's almost no chance of that. That requires a ton of investment, and all of the assets have been destroyed, and all of that good stuff right there. But you can do small things like Clifflix suggested right there, and as Pro you've advocated for, bringing back ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That's a small change, but one that can signal to everybody, hey, look, we're stepping in another direction. Hey, can we get Zippy Doo back into the parks and have it be played on park speakers? That would be interesting as well.
Wrong, Vash, I hate to be mean to you, but I think you're wrong. I think what you're doing, Vash, is you're causing us to stray away from the fundamental values of. Would you like me to explain?
Please.
Vash, what I'm trying to explain to you is that I remember back, 40, 50 years, when little kids would go up to Walt in the park and say, "Mr. Disney, Mr. Disney, Mr. Disney." And he would turn to them, slight smile, half a grin on his face, and say, "How dare you assume my gender? How dare you?" That's exactly, folks. Think about it. What a pile of lunacy, idiocy. The idea that we had to get away. And I talked to, now this was 2 years ago, I talked to lifeguards at Typhoon Lagoon. And they literally told me that they were having to come up with new ways of saying the words that would not get them in trouble. Because if there's a little girl standing on one of the water play sets and she shouldn't be there, they need to be able to identify, "I'm talking to you, little girl." And so what they had to do is they had to go to words like princess, because those were not verboten from the cast members. So that's literally what they were doing, is finding words that were not on the list of naughties so that they could identify, yes, it's you, kid, that you're unsafe.
Bro, could you imagine if someone, well, God forbid, but like say someone goes missing at the Magic Kingdom of any age, like how are they going to describe it over the intercom? They're like, we have someone who is a boy. Oh, wait, no, we can't say that. Their hair is, we can't say that another. Like, that stuff goes out the window when it starts becoming like a serious matter, but they get to pick and choose. It makes absolutely no sense.
Definitely not ladies and definitely not gentlemen. The Magic Kingdom requests you look for a small Mickey. That's the best they can do now. Go ahead, Lauren.
I look forward to the day that Kevin accidentally inhales some water in Typhoon Lagoon and a lifeguard dares to call him princess.
Yes, they will be the ones in need of saving. All right, folks, we'll see what happens with the disclaimers. Vash, did you have anything else to add? I think I scared you for a moment, Vash, but we carried through and did just fine. But I hope you don't anger Mr. Walt.
the other thing that we can bring into this conversation real fast is, the changes to the Disney look, for example, right? We know that male identifying cast members can wear traditionally female identifying things and so forth. We know that look has been deeply changed due to this progressive ideology. That can change. Masks in Adventureland, you remember they got rid of those, and the changes to the Jungle Cruise and all of that. If we can dial this stuff back even just a little bit, in ways that are substantive, that we can see, then I'll be on the train of, hey, maybe they are course correcting. But until then, I just don't necessarily buy what Disney's doing right here. I think it is a rebranding in order to get away from maybe the legal issues that might plague them from the Trump administration in the future.
So now I'll tell you a funny story, and I bet there's some guys out there who have had the same experience as me. Back, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, when I had to wear the suit, right? The suit that you wear so that you can go and make the big bucks. So back when I had to wear the suit, there was a female. Well, at least she presented as female, and I bet she was. I'm not the smartest person when it comes to biology, but I'm going to put money on it. Vash, there was a woman, a young woman who worked at the office, and she, during the hotter seasons of the year, the dress code allowed that she could wear a skirt. And here I am, miserable, right, wearing all this stuff. And so I said to some coworkers, I'm going to see if a kilt is forbidden. Like, I'm going to find out, do I have any ancestry that opens the door to me wearing a kilt? So that's, gentlemen out there, if you are wanting to show off, and Lauren, you're always showing off your legs. We know that. But if you want to show off your legs, go with the kilt. It's still appropriate. The Haunted Mansion butler outfit there with the black fingernail polish, nay, I say.
It's a little known fact that I actually do not have skin below the waist. I just naturally grow denim.
The crab people shall finally reign supreme!
Crab people.
We'll just let that one sit forever. Vash, it's Super Chat time.
Absolutely. 100%. That's fantastic. SFX Sabertooth Raptor with $5. Did you have a chance to watch Jurassic Park Ruined by AI? Watched other movies ruined by AI. Saw one where Gandalf and Saruman fight with lightsabers. Whoa.
Yes, I have seen many of these SFX, and so far I think my favorite is the one where they turn the Lord of the Rings cast into, I guess it's rednecks or it's Cajuns. I'm not sure which it is, but man, have you guys seen that? It's funny. I mean, it's really, really actually pretty good.
I haven't seen that one, but I have seen the one where they put the Muppets in the Mad Max world. That one's pretty cool. I like that.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go find that.
Yeah, you got to see it, bro. It's fantastic. I love that for sure. And also, too, I don't know if anybody's seen this as well, but there is, what is it, like Snow White comments on the trailer turned to songs. I think Marvin mentioned it. Really, really fun stuff as well. Great stuff with AI. Hidden Bards for the $5. My family grew up watching these movies. We're not influenced to think about people certain ways, but the biggest crime was not having a skip option.
Gotta have that skip. Gotta have that skip.
Gotta have the skip, I guess. Thank you so much, Ken, for that. Ken Reinhardt with $2. Has the death of DEI been greatly exaggerated?
Well, that's something we've got to take time to find out. But what I would say in regards to it is they seem to be getting rid of entire departments. Now, where those people are going, we don't know yet, because it's not like Reimagine Tomorrow as an effort had a very few people working on it. This was an entire, remember we talked about Ton Newton, and then we talked about Ton Newton being replaced by a Biden administration plant. Mm-hmm. So we got to find out what happened to these people and what are they up to now. But as of right now, it looks to me like Disney is doing everything to keep the EEOC and the rest of the Trump administration off of them.
Yeah. Does Carmen Smith get a pink slip? That's going to be a question right there for sure. And like the other things that we mentioned before.
She's not getting a pink slip. They're not.
I don't think so.
By the way, folks, Carmen Smith is the lady at Imagineering that we believe is basically, she's the one who's been doing all of this virtue signaling that's been destroying the parks.
Yes, absolutely. And, that's why I'm not so jumping on this train here until we see like other changes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I just don't see it. But thank you, Ken Reinhardt, for your amazing perspective right there. Andrew, member for 2 months. Happy Wednesday.
That's right, Andrew. And you go get the win as well.
Absolutely. And he is sending wins in the form of WDW Pro memberships, 5 of them, in fact. That's awesome.
God dang it, from the bottom of our hearts here on the WDW Pro Channel, thank you.
I tell you what, Vash, that never gets old seeing that guy. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like some propane or propane accessories, stop on by Strickland Propane in Arlen, Texas. Oh.
And fantastic right there. Doge with $2. Getting offended is a choice. Never forget that.
Let's see. Is it always a choice? Yeah, I think, I don't know. That's a deeper question, but 99.9% of the time, it's a choice. I think if somebody's doing something atrocious to another person in your presence, it needs to be the automatic response is to be deeply offended. But I get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying too. It's definitely subjective. Offense is definitely received more than it's given.
But
unless there's
assuming the gender of Walt Disney is always offensive.
I agree with that. Andrew with another $5. Thank you. Is Figment in any part of the Disney parks at all? If not, then they should bring that back. Big draw for me 40 years ago. You're taking the words right out of our Disney mouths here. They really should have a bigger presence with Figment, and yet they don't.
Figment is still in the worst ride in Epcot, maybe one of the worst rides in all of the Disney parks, Journey into Imagination. Figment occasionally is part of a meet and greet, but seldom actually treated well. Dreamfinder, nowhere to be found. And you might get lucky and maybe it'll be the year of another Figment popcorn bucket. That seems to be all the support that Disney wants to give to the mascot of Epcot.
They took out his meet and greet, by the way.
I'll say that costume that Figment was in was terrible.
It was bad.
I felt really bad for the cast member that was in it. It looked like you were going to fall over. It didn't matter how good you were.
And it did fall over multiple times. Oh boy, Disney.
Why do they even have a costume for Figment in the first place? They should do like a Muppet for him, with like a hand.
Oh yeah, from like the Dreamfinder's perspective, right? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, that would mean you had to have the Dreamfinder again.
That's what they used to do, Nolan. That's the most annoying thing about it. It's what they used to do back in the 1980s. Terrible. Mary White, a member for 1 month. Rando Q for Pro, please settle a bet. Are you Gen X?
Well, when does Gen X technically start and end? Come on, panel. That was a question for you. Everybody just kind of sat there like, where's he going with this?
Let me see. 1965, 1980.
So I think Gen X ends at 80 now.
Okay, and what's the next one after that?
Yeah, I think you go into millennial after that.
Oh no. No, I can't be a millennial.
Surprise.
No, that's not possible.
Ruh-roh.
Mary, I've got an identity crisis, and I'll get back with you soon.
I hope that answers the question. Andrew with another $5. Dang it, Bob. Indeed.
Dang it, Bob.
And that just about does it right here. I'm going to go find that Muppets Mad Max right there. Please, bro, carry on with the show.
Absolutely. And folks, we have more news on the way, including our reviews for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, which might be the last time Marvel feels good this week. The weekend could be quite weak when it comes to Captain America: Brave New World. But what are we going to next in terms of our story? Oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Hollywood wants more DEI. At a time such as this, take a look at it. It's out of Reuters. It's by Danielle Broadway. And it says, Hollywood boosts female leads, but lags in people of color, report finds. And you're going to find as we read this that they really, really want DEI and woke to continue. No joke. Here we go.
But wait, before you get into this, scroll back up to the picture of Cynthia Erivo.
Yep.
Those are not fake nails, are they? It looks to
I'm
me like
glad
she's just glued random office appliances to her fingers.
I'm glad that it's the nails.
I'm pretty sure there's a stapler on her thumb.
It looks, the nails look to me, Lauren, without being mean, they look like she put Play-Doh on the end of her fingers and dried it. I mean, that's just, I'm sorry. It's not doing it for me. It's not meant to do it for me, though. I'm not the target audience here. Okay. From Los Angeles, out of Reuters, out of the top 100 movies in 2024, more than half featured a story centered on a female actor as a lead or co-lead. The first-time representation has been above the U.S. Census, where girls and women comprised 50.5% of the population, a 2025 report from the University of Southern California found, USC. Now, I want to make sure that everybody understands how this game is played before we get too far into this. Out of the top 100 movies in 2024, more than half features a story centered on a female actor. Okay. Before we go any more into this, I want you to realize that although that sounds important, when you make it be the top 100 movies, it becomes largely meaningless. And the reason for that is that after you get out of the top 20, the amount of money these movies made down in the bottom half are so small as to be completely and totally forgetful. Like, nobody even has heard of some of these movies if we're measuring the top 100. If you want a meaningful statistic, what you need is like the top 20 or the top 10. But the top 100? Well, I mean, seriously, we'll get on that in just a minute. Vash, while we're doing this, could you look up the top 100 movies of 2024 for me? Can you do that?
Absolutely.
All right, Vash is going to get on that. However, representation fell for people of color in film, the report said. The USC Annenberg Inclusion Initiative, so notice it's an initiative, so they're initiating more, examined 1,800 top grossing films from 2007 to 2024 and assessed the gender, race, and ethnicity as well as the ages of the leading and co-leading actors for each movie. Now, here's where we get into some real pablum, you might even say. This is the first time we can say that gender equality has been reached in top grossing films, said Dr. Stacy L. Smith, founder of the USC Annenberg Inclusion Initiative. This is not the result of an economic awakening, but is due to a number of different constituencies and efforts at advocacy groups, at studios, through DEI initiatives to assert the need for equality on screen, Smith added. You'll notice that Smith has no interest in merit or on consumer response. Films like Wicked with lead Cynthia Erivo, Anora with lead Mikey Madison, and Anya Taylor-Joy in Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, set the stage for these gains in Hollywood gender equality. I would say that Furiosa was a furious flop. Out of the 100 top grossing films of 2024, 54 featured a girl or woman in a lead or co-lead role, the USC report said. This reflects an increase from 2023 when only 30 movies featured a female identified protagonist. Now, it goes on to say that 66% of Universal Pictures had a female actor lead, 55% for Warner Brothers, 54% for Lionsgate. We've got 44% for Paramount, only 40% for Walt Disney, 38% for Sony. And then it says that there was a decrease in terms of individuals who are, quote unquote, of color in the lead. By the way, one of the issues I have with this is that I don't know how you measure this when you have an ensemble cast. Like, who is the lead necessarily? It's not obvious to me. Now, Vash, we want to go to the top 100, and you've got that for us. So, Vash, go down to the bottom 20 of the top 100, please. And let's see if we know any of these and if it was meaningful for us to have included them. Go ahead. Start at number 80, Vash, and just read these out to us.
Number 80 is Immaculate.
Nope.
Number 81, Monkey Man. Oh, not good. 82, Doraemon the movie.
How much did that make,
Nobitas.
Vash? How much did Doraemon the movie make?
Worldwide, $33,000. Or yeah, $33 million.
Okay.
I believe it's pronounced Doraemon.
Doraemon. Sorry about that. Thank you so much.
Here we go. Now it's not. We're going to get into a Pokemon versus Pokemon argument. We've done it now. Read the next one for us, Vash.
Absolutely. The Watchers at 83. Harbin at 84. Borderlands at 85. man, Lionsgate.
Okay, I take it back. We have heard some of these. Borderlands, we ready to go. Oh, keep going. Keep going. That's
okay. 86, Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Wait a minute. Vash, did you say crayon?
Crayon, yeah. It's
hands up if you said crayon. Hands up.
You know what?
Are all of you crayon?
West Coast thing.
As long as you're not crown people. Like that I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah. I get you. Okay, crayon.
Crayon.
People in here.
87, I guess, is a My Hero Academia. You're next. I guess that was
okay,
anime.
That one. Go down to number 100. How bad is it if we get down to 100? What do we got?
The Firefighters at number 100. $25 million.
I can't dismiss Firefighters. That really puts me in a hard spot there, Vash.
101 is Juror number 2.
No, we'll stop. Okay. All right. Bottom line here is that many of the movies that you're going to find in the bottom 50 are simply, they just didn't do anything and nobody cares. So whether or not you've got somebody of diversity in those bottom 50, totally different story than in the top 20. All right, Kevin, let me go to you first. Hollywood and the USC seem to want a further push into this. Give me your thoughts on whether that's good, bad, ugly, or indifferent.
It's silly. It's silly. I think we had data last year or to close at the close of last year that showed that audiences are not into the DEI casting. They just don't want it. People just want story. So doubling down and thinking that you can for lack of a less gentle way to put it, female magic Negro your way into $1 billion. It's just not going to happen. It's people need to be entertained. So stop it with this already. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson?
We're going to keep teaching it over and over and over and over and over again. I'm enjoying teaching this lesson. I'm having fun with it now. It's like, see all this money I got? It's mine. You can't have it anymore. I'm going to go enjoy it doing these other things.
What you're saying, Kevin, is stories matter.
Oh, no. Well, maybe they don't matter as much as you think. So this is very interesting. From Rasmussen Reports here, September 17, 2021. That's a few years ago. But you remember 2021. I mean, this is what the height of all this DEI stuff and the progressive influence. Rasmussen Reports, few see Hollywood's influence as positive. That's something right there. Also, too, if we're just talking about the Walt Disney Company, 47% say Disney has gotten worse. That was just recently, January 9th, 2025. I think Kevin Paulo is right. I think we are seeing a trend where people aren't necessarily as receptive to this progressive ideology through the use of DEI and so forth that they've been pushing in films as of late. I think people are kind of receding from it, and it's not as influential or as beneficial to the industry and really raising up voices as they would like to say that it is. In fact, people seem to be rejecting those voices even more because they've been they've had these things pushed on them in the way that they have, which is having, well, the opposite effect of, I'm sure, what they intended. So I hope we're getting away from this, but what's really disconcerting is that the Oscars have institutionalized this with their new qualification standards. Go ahead.
Well, look at it this way. It's like, I'm going to show off how old I am here, is that back in grade school, when you would earn a pizza party and they would wheel in a TV, a CRT TV with a VCR, and we would watch old Disney movies or stuff like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and it's like, that's not a Disney one, but you got, Robin Hood or The Sword and the Stone, all of that stuff
came from Showbiz Pizza Place. That's what I hope.
Could you imagine the kids 20 years from now having to watch Captain Marvel? Remember also, that'll be a 20-year-old movie at that time that was set in the 90s. So they'll be watching a 20-year-old movie celebrating 20 years before that. It'll be like them watching the 1955 sequence from Back to the Future.
It's like
what we
watching
want
Back to the Future with no artistic value whatsoever. But guys, can I get in trouble? Will you all join me? It's a panel of men. Can we get in trouble for a minute? Thank you, Tim. All right. Here's what I think. I think that if they want more female leads in Hollywood, they're going to have to bring back romance movies.
Yep.
They're going to have to bring back rom-coms. You know why they can't get as many women leads? It's because they're not allowed to have romances anymore, and they're not allowed to have romances anymore because women in Hollywood are not allowed to be depicted as falling in love or needing no man, and thus, well, it makes it harder for women to be leads because women, that's what the women of America want to see. It's what the women of the world want to see because it turns out that people actually like finding love in their life. Who would have thought it? Guys, have I solved it here? You think USC will take that to heart? Do you think that the Inclusion Initiative will say, geez, Louise, that Pro Channel, we've seen the light. We need more romance movies.
It's not just romance. You need beefy men. You need beautiful women. You need action movies. You need comedy. It's like, who would have thought that in 2025 that what Hollywood would be pushing is serious versions of It's Pat? You know, that's where we're at.
That's a
Not
great.
to mention the gold mine that's waiting for them if they just, go back to the things that people actually want to see. We know Barbie had all the woke nonsense in it, but girls went to see it anyways because they wanted to see a movie that they could actually, dress up pretty for, have like exciting, stunning like scenery and all that, like living like a model life. And what it bring it? $2 billion. Now imagine if they actually made a movie that women have been clamoring for that is actually logically made. You could have like a $3 billion movie. It's insanity.
I would argue that Barbie made $2 billion because it was accidentally based, and it gave guys something to go do.
They accidentally made Ken worth watching. Hey, Kevin, if we're going to do rom-coms, I think you need to be the beefy man. Would you mind being the beefy male in the movies that the women all swoon around? Could you do that, Kevin?
I think I could handle it. I
really appreciate you taking that sacrifice for us.
It's really amazing. It really is amazing, though, because I think Pro really has touched on something here. The romantic subplots being removed from films. I mean, it is profound. I didn't really notice it for a little while, and now it's like it's unavoidable. I think somebody in the chat actually said too, this is why Titanic was, one of the highest grossing films of all time. And it's interesting when you look at Western entertainment, there's almost no romance at all. When you look at international entertainment, like from anime, for example, it's like every single anime, I don't care if it's an action series like Soul Leveling, it's got a romantic subplot in it. Because I think they're looking to appeal to the broadest demographics possible, include as many people as possible, and they understand that romance has its place in media and entertainment, unlike today with Western entertainment. So I think it's very, very important that we bring back some of these genres, like Lauren was talking about, somebody from the genre guys, actually, to bring some of this stuff back and to reincorporate in the films, because my, oh my, when you're only speaking to a very small slice of the audience, but you're, bankrolling 4-quadrant pictures, it's not going to work out too well.
And truthfully, if I can pull up what you were saying real quick here, the reality with romance is it's a part of humanity. It's a part of the human experience. People don't go to movies to just see, I don't know, 2 rocks in front of a screen because they don't have any emotion or anything like that. We want to see and feel and connect with these characters. I remember years ago, back when The Force Awakens came out, there were certain times where I'm just like, this film feels kind of stilted and creepy because it just doesn't have that draw of like romance and stuff like that. Everything was very stilted by the books. Rogue One had this problem too. And the reality is, even with those who like don't have, lustful attraction, trying to say this for YouTube here, and who are asexual and such, they still have ability, to connect. They have love, romance. It's literally what separates us out and brings unity to people. And when you completely devoid a movie of that, you just have a barren wasteland where it starts looking like a creepy corporate video that you have to watch during training. That's what our movies are now. It's creepy.
Well, I have good news for everyone. We have managed to obtain 2 scenes from the upcoming romantic film starring one Kevin Apollo. Here are those 2 leaked scenes early.
We need rest. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is spongy and bruised.
Wear clothes. Oop, almost forgot that one.
CGI is impressive there, Kevin.
Fantastic delivery.
All right.
I definitely thought it was going to be a Blazing Saddles.
You know what? We'll get it in the queue. We definitely will, just for you. All right, Vash, we've got super chats. Let's hit them right now.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and get those on screen. If my browser will cooperate. I got them right here. I got that one right there. Thank you, Andrew. Furious Liquid with $5. Pro, do you think Iger's legacy is officially tarnished? He's going to be known as the CEO who trashed Star Wars, which is insane. Remember, he said the buck stops here. I remember that quote. Maybe he doesn't.
Let's put it this way. Jordan coming back to play for the Wizards went better than Iger returning to Disney.
That's rough. Anybody knows their basketball history? Ryohashi with the member for 9 months. They need to write women better, more than romance. Indeed, I agree.
That is true, but they refuse to do romance, which prohibits and limits them in their attempts to cross that barrier and get a majority of films led by females.
It is ridiculous. How many of the same archetypes from female characters have we seen over the past 4 years? Just repeat. They're the same characters, interchangeable throughout. Cannon Barnes at
Where are all
$5.
those Jennifer Lopez movies these days? You know, they're gone. Poor young actresses can't get a break anymore. They can't be Jenny from the Block. It's been blocked from them.
Yeah, Crossroads and Sister of the Traveling Pants or something. I don't know.
Yayas. I don't know. What were those things? I don't know what Yaya is. It kind of frightens me.
Indeed. Cannon Barnes, the $5.
Yes, you seem like you know what a Yaya might be. Keep going, sir.
I really don't know. One of the many things missing in the sequels is a romantic relationship. No Leia or Han or Anakin and Padme dynamic. Hey, they included a little bit of romance shipping there with Rey and Kylo, so there's something.
Can I just say, this man has the best reactions in the world. When I said, Vash, you don't know what a Yaya is. Lauren doesn't move, and yet everyone can see, Lauren, exactly what you're thinking. It is the greatest poker, non-poker face in the world.
What I was thinking at that time was that the male comedy parody would be the Brotherhood of the Crusty Boxers.
Where's the vomit clip? We don't have the vomit. We got rid of it. Why did we get rid of the vomit clip? Lauren, this is why I said at MegaCon that we need to reserve a room, right? They've got all these conference rooms and things, seat hundreds to thousands of people. We just need to get a room and it's a Lauren room. Just come in and shake Lauren's hand, have a seat. Everybody would be having a good time, and you could show off those denim legs of yours.
I think Nolan was actually sickened by that comment. He's still got a look on his face.
I was like, why are they crusty? I don't want to know why. Keep the underpants gnomes away from those things, please.
Cannon Barnes, grossed out. Either it's from your comment or mine with $2. Vash, that does not count. Ew. Yes.
Yeah, but we're going to find a way to make money out of it.
I don't get it. You see, phase 1, collect underpants. Phase 2, phase 3, profit. Oh, I get it.
Yep.
By the way, is there any way I can play a little bit of this Muppets and Mad Max?
I've actually got it ready to go. You wanted to? You play it. You play it. Now, wait a minute. Before we play this, Vash, we're totally free, right? There's no music in here that's going to get the channel taken down, because if we go down in a blaze of glory, I want to go down for something that's not AI Muppet parodies. Like, when I call up Geeks and Gamers, or I call up Drunk 3PO and say, guys, guess how we destroyed our channel? Like, I want it to be something that sounds impressive.
I have it muted.
Muppets parody.
I have it muted, so we don't need to risk that.
What do you mean you got it? Does it have copyrighted music in it?
I don't know. Actually, I've never listened to it.
Well, this is going to go great, folks. We got a guy going to play a video that we've never. Go ahead, put it on the screen. What do you got?
Well, I
just pull up Kevin MacLeod kazoo in another tab and just play it over the music.
When I step away, do you guys play Beatles music just to tempt the YouTube gods to destroy us? Like, all right, there you go, folks. There's Mad Max Muppets version, and yeah, that Muppet has head going. Oh, it's baby animal. Oh. And that is going to be painful, the way that car merged together. Truly. There you go, folks. Muppets Mad Max. They are, whoa. That's a Fraggle. That's not a Muppet. All right, Vash, thank you so much. Vash, we've just had a gifted membership come in, and we got to say a giant thank you.
Absolutely. To John Maynor, gifting 20 WDW Pro memberships again. Thank you so much, sir.
That's right. I think he's up to 40, folks. And we're talking about Lordy 40 from John Maynor. Let's celebrate together.
When a pirate shares his treasure with you, know that it came at a cost, even from the likes of someone such as Captain John Maynor.
Perfect. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
And John was thinking about this as well. For the Muppets Mad Max, if you get struck, $2. Thank you.
So, what we need to do is we need to ad lib on that next time. We can switch over. I know, Nolan, you can do a Muppet voice, right? Not when he's muted, that's for sure. That went well. Lauren, can you do a Muppet voice? Kevin?
I'll give it a shot. Animal, have fun.
Oh, yeah. Good job, Animal. Yeah. All right, we got two. Out of an entire trailer filled with all kinds of crazy creatures, we got two Muppets. And it's going to be great, folks. Hang tight. We'll do it. We'll do it for you.
Kirby, there's always two. Never more, never less.
Thank you, Piggy. Thank you, Piggy. Not what I thought he was going to go with, but respected nonetheless. You got to say moi, though. You got to say moi. That's I love you. That's the Piggy thing. All right.
If you're doing Muppet Star Wars, I want Sam the American Eagle to be Palpatine.
Think about that. Who would be Palpatine if not Sam? What's that blue-looking lobster guy that was? That could be Palpatine, maybe. I don't know. I think Sam might be Darth Vader.
Lauren, you have me dying of laughter because now I'm just picturing a Muppet version of Revenge of the Sith, and now I think I've transcended into heaven right now.
All right, guys. Well, let's talk about Spider-Man, your friendly neighborhood variety, and we'll get started on this latest review. All right, who all has seen the latest Spider-Man episodes? Nolan has, Lauren has, Kevin has. Vashua, did you watch them?
I unfortunately wasn't able to make it into the schedule right there. I was editing some videos, bro, and getting us ready for tomorrow's amazing day of content. So unfortunately, I have not seen them, but I have questions that I think could enrich the conversation.
Vash, that is a nice try at escaping my judgment for the fact that you went and joined Mexican Iron Man to build a safe house for hot Colombian women seeking sanctuary. Vash, I'm very disappointed. Mike told me that he flew you out to South Carolina to do that. He's a bad influence on you. Don't do that anymore, okay? Don't do that.
Yes, sir.
All right, Vash, go ahead and ask your question. What do you got?
I was hoping to get into it. So they released how many episodes this week? I think it was 3. Okay. I have heard that the fight scene, especially with the character that you're actually seeing on screen right now, didn't actually go so well. Apparently, while it was animated in a way that, changed angles and stuff and was visually kind of interesting, unfortunately didn't have the tension or the you could feel the punches and stuff from these characters. Did anybody have that same reaction? And how was the overall story and writing for these episodes? I'm very curious.
So don't everybody jump in at once now. Easy going. Calm your enthusiasm. Curb the enthusiasm, folks.
Kevin's the expert here, and so I'm curious to hear what he says. I know what my thoughts are, but I'd have to defer to him.
You know, it was a nice try. I thought that and I don't mean that to be as damning.
Like a hot young lady who the guy walks up to and says, "Will you go out with me?" She says, "It was a nice try." It's awful. All right, go ahead, Kevin. That's go ahead, break it to us easy.
It was a nice try. These guys clearly needed another like $400 in the budget to really land this, because the lack of money is just evident. The fight scene's okay. The dialogue's okay. They worked with what they kind of had, but it just falls short of what you should have. It falls short of what a Spider-Man versus Daredevil fight should be. It was okay. It was okay.
Hey, at least
I don't
it's
want
better
to
than
bury it like Spencer. I know Spencer and I tend to have a lot of fun on Twitter when we don't like something, but I'm trying to take a little bit more of a positive approach here.
All right, now if we go to Nina Infinity over here, let me see if I can share this. She says the animation looks awful. At least I'll always have 90s Spider-Man. Is that how you guys are feeling after that fight scene? Lauren, I guess we hand the microphone to you.
I feel like I'm the Pollyanna on this show. I'm actually really enjoying it. I liked the fight scene. I thought it was well choreographed. And I think part of the reason that you don't feel the impact of the punches and things is because Daredevil's not really fighting. He's having a conversation with Peter while they're doing athletics together, essentially. And it's because he knows Spidey's not a bad guy. He knows that Spidey is doing what he thinks is right. And he's trying to make him aware that maybe you need to be looking at this Osborn guy a little more closely. It's not meant to be a fight where they're taking each other out. This is them having a conversation with action. This show has surprised me. I did not think I was going to like this show, and it's now up to 8 episodes. The only one that I really had questions about was the first one. And it's been growing on me week to week. I think the voice work is excellent. I like the visual style. I like the character beats that they're given. I like all of the characters. I'm finding very little to complain about. Now, granted, a lot of people have talked about the 90s Spidey show. I never watched it, so I can't compare it to that. But as an alternate take on Spider-Man, I'm liking the show. You can actually call me a fan, and that shocks the heck out of me.
Let me throw something at you guys and see what you think about it. It would be easy for this to come off as a negative. I don't intend it to be that way. The 2000s version of the Turtles on Nickelodeon, I think it's a really, really good show.
Yeah.
Especially the first seasons. I think that, if you asked me, is the 80s animated version better, the cartoon? Well, sure. I mean, nostalgia wins, right? That said, I tend to think of this Spider-Man show now, having seen enough episodes, as being a lesser version of the Ninja Turtles on Nickelodeon. What I mean by that is it's like trying to aim in that same artistic style, sort of. I get the same vibes because I feel the budget constraints in the animation. I feel the budget constraints when we see New York, Queens specifically, and the streets really don't have people or cars very much. I mean, there are a few, most of them standing completely still. Like, I feel those things, and yet I can also tell that some of the writers here really do care about Spider-Man and get the character. It just doesn't gel the way that it needs to, and that's what's keeping it from being great. And instead, it's kind of in the middle for me. That's the way I feel. I get every opinion on this. I get Lauren's side. I get the other side. My only real complaint here is it's organic webbing every single time. I can't stand the gadget webs. Listen, folks, if you get bit by a spider and you don't get webbing, you might as well have been bitten by a gecko. Like you can climb on walls. Who cares? Call it gecko senses. Nobody, all you got was freaking ability to walk on walls from a spider. That's the lamest spider ability they have. Have you ever seen a spider? They have cool abilities.
You've lost all credibility with me with this comment. I want to ask a question, though, of the panel.
As long as the webbing doesn't come out of his posterior, Lauren, come on, it comes out of the wrist, then it's cool. If it comes out of the back end like a real spider, that's not cool at all. I mean, that's the lamest of the spider abilities.
I was going to ask, we got only so many options. Where's it coming from?
Wrists, man, wrists.
Do they just come out of your wrists or other places?
Maybe your tear ducts. Maybe, that would be like the that would make Cyclops envious, right? He'd be like, I shoot beams up my eyes, and Spider-Man could be like, well, shoot them out my tear ducts.
Oh boy.
I want to know,
folks. We only have high-class stuff on this show.
That's right. I want to know what love is. Go ahead, Lauren.
How do people feel about Doc Ock? Because every time he appears on screen, I'm loving what they're doing with him. He's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Dude.
No one appears to have a good answer to this. Nolan, go for it.
Okay, Doc Ock was awesome. Like the jazzy music or the classical type music when he's like taking on the SWAT team. This is the most hyped I've been for a Spider-Man thing since Spectacular Spider-Man, dude. Like, where in the world was this writing for the first episode with that garbage with Doctor Strange and the Venom creature and then there's the whole woke nonsense and stuff. And then when you actually get into the core of this show, it is fantastic. Like what they did with Doc Ock was clever. We're actually seeing more of his mind as opposed to just him making devices. Like he's actually a bit of a nerd for once, which is no offense to Alfred Molina. This might actually be a compliment, but he was way too pretty to be a nerd. And he's actually got, like, he's playing a little, like, cat game at the computer. He's got kind of a Dr. Robotnik vibe to him. It's cool. But I'm sorry if to change it a little bit. I can't geek out enough about Scorpion. I have been waiting for years to finally tap into the potential of the Scorpion and how, honestly, violent this show got with, like, Spider-Man's confrontation with him. And it's not just a one-and-done thing for the sake of violence, like a lot of, like, say, 90s stories were. No, it actually impacts. Then we get a great dive into the philosophy of Spider-Man, of how much it affects his persona. The fact that he lost. I mean, I know it was kind of the hip thing, to attack this show when it first came out, but I'm going to make an argument, this might be a hot take, that this is getting closer to Peter Parker's character than the Tom Holland stuff, because you're actually seeing a lot more of the focus of how it's impacting the small aspects of his life. Is this show perfect? Far from it. Like, I still think whoever is in charge of some of these DEI initiatives kind of might need to see the boot, and I don't mean Doc Ock's boot, but like, I feel like engulfed in a poor budget is a great Spider-Man show, and I wish it started stronger, because I feel like it was all the junk at the beginning, and then we're into something. If it keeps up this rate, I want to see a season 2, but it's just a shame that you're going to see if this show goes forward with some of these design choices. It's like, well, we know what era it was greenlit in and how this could affect the future, but I don't know.
I also really like that. I feel like they're being somewhat subtle with some stuff, which you wouldn't expect from the art style. But you take, for instance, I really like the reversal of Osborn telling Peter, with great power comes great respect. And what they're pulling from. The audience knows what the line is supposed to be, and who Osborn is, but it's subtle enough that it sounds like that could be right, and you can see Peter struggling with this. It's like he wants to please Osborn, but he feels like that's not the right sentiment. And then when Peter does get beat up and he's calling for help, and you see Goblin's glider come in, he's not the Goblin, but you know what that is. And that's, I mean, obviously, we're all geeks. We know what this stuff is. It's not subtle foreshadowing, but it is restraint on the part of the storytellers. And I respect the fact that they're doing that. They're laying their breadcrumbs appropriately. The setups and payoffs on this show are working. And that's something that I haven't seen Disney be able to accomplish in quite some time. So that's part of the reason I'm giving the kudos to this show. They're giving me proper setups and payoffs. Even characters I didn't think I was going to like, I'm liking them. And that tells me, you guys have won me over. You're writing correctly, because I feel sympathy for characters that I thought were going to completely turn me off.
Except, Lorne, when Osborne says, "With great power comes great respect," I would have liked to have seen a little Uncle Ben angel appear on Peter's shoulder that says, "I don't know about that one, Pete." By the way, so here's the question, though. Here's the angle to take, gentlemen. That is, Disney Plus has been hemorrhaging subscribers. They're down 700,000 subscribers in the last quarter, and they were practically giving Disney Plus away, right? Black Friday deal was $1 for a year, right? $1 a month, $12. You get Disney Plus for a year. Okay. They are projecting that Disney Plus is going to lose even more subscribers this quarter that we're in. Spider-Man is the show. This is it. This is the one that's supposed to stop subscribers from going away anymore and attract new ones. So the question becomes, do you think the show is doing that, or is it too niche? Some people say niche. I say niche. What say you?
I think this show has been unfairly put in a rock between a hard place. This is a good show. The first 2 episodes were very shaky and very repellent. We get it. We all know why. But like I said last week, I think the memo hit the desks around the 3rd episode, and it gave to people who actually like Spider-Man the ability to tell great Spider-Man stories, right? Spider-Man is, between Batman and Spider-Man, they are the 2 most popular superheroes on the planet. It's a 1A, 1B thing, depending on who's got a movie coming out. But the Disney brand is so damaged that I don't know if Spider-Man is going to be the one to drag them over the finish line. This is a Disney proper problem. And if you sit down and you listen to some YouTubers who are, I think, relentlessly unfair about this show.
Well, they didn't like, Kevin. They didn't like that a spider dropped out of a portal from another dimension and bit Peter. Like, that was a bad start. I think it's fair to say, that was a bad start.
Yeah. It was a weird way to say, hey, this is something different. There's a billion ways you could have gone about this.
Could have given him organic wrist webbing
instead
of gecko abilities.
It's a special pro note, the organic webs. But this show, if Disney did not have such a negative air about it, and I mean, this is from everything to the little weirdness that happened in the little toddler Jedi show, to just everything Disney has done really since 2020. They did this to themselves, and it's unfair to the people who make this show to put the onus on them to get people to watch Disney Plus. If we didn't have the Acolyte, what was the show that Agatha
Skeleton Crew? Oh,
yeah. Well, if we didn't have to suffer through Acolyte, if we didn't have to suffer through Agatha, and a lot of the stuff that came before that, because Skeleton Crew, unfortunately, was just another victim of this, right? It was unoffensive, and it was pretty okay. It was more okay than it wasn't, right? You've got 2 shows that should have been stronger and got buried under the weight of bad Disney.
Even if Skeleton Crew was great, and apologies, Kevin, I didn't mean to speak over you. Even if Skeleton Crew had been great, it doesn't have the capacity to really generate a huge audience, because those who would be interested in a childlike elephant costume running around with his friends, and that's just it's not big enough, right? It can't be Stranger Things. It can't be Squid Games. It just, unless you pick up some sort of weird, flux out of culture, it just can't be so. Okay.
Pro, can I follow up on your something you said there, if you don't mind? You were talking about if this can bring up the subscribers and such, and we're talking about how Skeleton Crew is going to appeal to kids. If Disney's smart, they really need to be capitalizing on some of the toy opportunities of this show. Get like a Lego set with Spider-Man, Scorpion, or Spider-Man and Daredevil, because, that's a great way to market to kids. But every time, you search for the show on YouTube, it's all about the woke stuff. The articles are all about the race swap and all that, instead of like the core of the show. And like, have you gone to McDonald's and seen like a Happy Meal tie-in for the show? Disney should theoretically have a budget, to get into the zeitgeist of kids. And I don't, unless they push for something like that, I don't think this is going to help with the subscriber numbers because you failed to get kids. But sorry, not to talk over you.
No. Knowing modern Disney, they'll reach out to Hasbro because Hasbro's really into making toys right now. All right, let's go around the horn and get the review scores. Lauren, we'll start with you in these. I guess this is what, episode 7, 8, 9? Is that what we're on right now, gentlemen? All right, Lauren?
No. I think it's
7, 8.
Yeah,
7, 8.
7, 8.
All right, Lauren.
Yeah. I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay. No
Same,
explanation. Just say he liked it. Okay. Kevin.
I'm saying Lauren, a strong 8.
All right. Nolan.
9. I'll give it a 9.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go that way. I mean, it does kind of suck that they have, you know, they don't have the organic libs. Instead, they have the plot MacGuffin. Yeah, I did say that, Lauren. I did say that instead. But yeah, no, I think it's got a lot of heart. I like the stuff going on with the characters. I hope it continues strong. Will it completely falter by the finale? And then by the start of next season, we'll probably see some of the nonsense from the higher-ups again? Probably. But you know what? In the now, I'm enjoying it.
Now, I know that we're supposed to be the channel that channels only negativity towards Disney. And yet, we largely said okay to Skeleton Crew. And here we go again with your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man saying, it's not bad. Now, I'm going to be the curmudgeon of the group. I'm giving it a 7. Do I want to get a 7 or 7.5? I'm going to give it a 7.5. I'm going to give it a 7.5. I think it's significantly better than the other episodes, way better than the first 2 episodes. And folks, that means that for episodes 6, 7, and 8 for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, 8.2 out of 10 for the Pro Channel. Lauren, you look like you're worried about that math. Are we holding up there still?
No, I forgot that Vash didn't watch it. I was trying to figure out why he didn't score it, and then it occurred to me right before you asked.
We don't trust the man anymore. We don't trust him. He was an Iron Man. Hot Colombian babes seeking refuge. All right, folks, that is the score we're giving it. That is where we are. Bash, we've got super chats, and then we're going to do some outros. Folks, don't go anywhere. We need your support. Vacation Radio had enough watch time to be monetized in the first few days of its existence, and mean old Uncle YouTube refused to count any of those hours because it powered through so successfully that, I don't know, might have made them suspicious. So when you launch a radio station with 60 all-new, brand-new songs, turns out it's kind of tough to relaunch with 60 brand new songs. Takes many months to do that, but we've been working, and we need you to check out this new video. We've got 4 new songs for Vacation Radio debuting tonight. Don't go anywhere. We'll send you over there. Just leave it on, let it play, go to bed, and it'll be doing just A-OK the whole way through, and will help us get those watch hours we need. All right, Vash, it's time for Super Chats.
All right, well, we've got one. That's Odd Christian Wayne, I believe. Welcome to the potential level, becoming a new YouTube member. And, just had one come in. Neo, gifting 1 WDW Pro membership.
Neo, thank you. You were operating in bullet time and managing to give that gifted membership right on time, just as it was needed. All right, Vash, let's do a few plugs here before we go. Vash, tell us what you've got coming up on That Pod Place, please.
That Pod Place, we have T3PO live tomorrow. That's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern. Amazing show. We're going to be talking about all the stuff going on, including, is Disney really retreating from DEI? We'll definitely be attacking that from a parks perspective right there. The DAS lawsuit, huge 32-page lawsuit just filed. Big class action against
Vash. What is a DAS? You got to explain that one to the audience. What's a DAS?
See.
DAS no good.
Disability, DAS is no good. Disability Access Service, that is the disabled service that the Walt Disney Company offers at its theme parks in order for people with disabilities to ride their attractions like able-bodied persons would. However, they they restricted that by a lot, and some people are not happy about it. We'll be getting into that as well on T3PO Live tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Big show, folks. Definitely tune in. And of course, That Park Price has Morning Magic, which I will also be hosting, episode 32, I believe. That's going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow as well, right before the Pro Show.
Nolan, were you doing a World of Warcraft reference? Was that Was that a troll voice when you said "das no good"?
No, but you know what? I'll take it at this point. I'll go with it.
I thought you were being Zul Jin for a minute. For those of you who like World of Warcraft or Heroes of the Storm. All right. Lauren, you're also doing a phenomenal job with your channel, reading through the content that we used to love and we should love some more. Lauren, tell the folks out there where you are in the readings and why they should implore you to continue doing so.
Well, I just finished up reading Indiana Jones and the Peril at Delphi, which was the first novel written by Rob McGregor after Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade came out. That was kind of a part of their Indiana Jones EU. It's not really considered canon anymore because there's conflicting details between the books and the movies now. But it's kind of a fun thing to listen to for nostalgia. I just began reading the X-Wing series, which is one of my very favorite series in the Star Wars EU. The first novel is called Rogue Squadron, and the first 2 chapters are already out.
Fantastic stuff. Folks, get over there as fast as you can and subscribe to Lorne, and you're going to get more and more Lorne, and we think we just might be able to get Lorne to join us even more often here on the Pro Channel. We're working on it. The man only has 24 hours in a day, but we've put in a notice. We've sent a letter to God asking for a few more hours. 26 hours, please, Lord, for Lorne. He needs them. Kevin, you're doing Tooneytown Wrestling. Tell the folks what that is. And if those of you out there have not yet noticed, Kevin is a man who has seen a gym once or twice in his life. Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, so as you guys know, Marv and I team up to do Tooneytown Wrestling on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You could see me, Marv, Lauren, and Nolan for a Toonie Talk. What was it? TV?
Toonie Talk TV.
Thank you. I always get it messed up, and it's
Kevin,
almost
is this
a
the
year.
first time I've ever asked you to plug the channels?
We got a fun show lined up for tomorrow, so guys, just be there, check it out. And I guess, am I the only one who doesn't have a channel of my own? Am I gonna have to sit down and make one?
Sorry, Kevin. We didn't want to tell you. It's not. I mean, you're not part of the cool kids anymore if you don't have a YouTube channel. That's what they say in the middle schools, I hear. Nolan, if there's one person who can bring cheer to the audience, it's you, sir. What do you got coming up in your content?
Thank you for your kind words. So I have this game, Super Mario 64. If you like video game mysteries and internet mysteries and everything in between, you should check out my channel. I do these mini little documentaries on the various mysteries of the world. It's a mix of B-movie horror, comedy, and the documentaries of all these old 90s urban legends. Soon we'll be talking about an alleged personalization AI that was developed in the 1990s that was experimental but unstable for Mario 64, causing every person's cartridge from their childhood to actually be different from another person across the street. So if that's something that intrigues you with some possible sinister intent, please check me out on my channel at Nolan Thunder and all that. Yeah. So thank you.
What was the movie about the computer program in the 80s that was super dangerous all of a sudden, and the kids on the internet could send missiles across the world? Do you guys remember that one? What was that?
War Games.
Who knew War Games was inserted into Super Mario 64? Never knew it, folks. All right, we're going to send you on over to Vacation Radio, where a premiere is. Oh, wait a minute. Do we have more? We do have more super chats. All right.
We had a couple come in right when we were doing plugs there. Tennille89 with his 10th super chat. Well, thank you so much for that. With $10, Disney has cultivated an aura of pervasive dishonesty and mean-spirited pandering, which only stops short of evil due to their ineptitude. They earned it. They could have stopped at any point before now.
But it all came down to money, money, money. And that's what it seems to me. Bob Iger is not a person of virtue, I don't believe, but if the U.S. government, and we're going to look into this even more, if they were willing to pay big bucks so long as you played the game of DEI and wokeness, well, Bob Iger's not going to turn into his brokenness. He loves his yachts.
Indeed, he does like his yachts. That's for sure. We'll have to see on that. Andrew with $10. Thank you so much for all the super chats tonight. Very much, good sir. The city of LA decided to honor its fictional hero, Jack Bauer, by naming a street after him. However, after naming it, there was more pedestrian accidents than before. Don't cross Jack Bauer.
You know, Andrew, this reminds me of the historical event where Chuck Norris was paid to be a sponsor of a toilet paper brand. I believe it was Charmin before those stupid cartoon bears that Lauren hates so much joined up. The only problem was that once they put Chuck Norris's face on the packaging for the toilet paper, the TP refused to accept any of the excrement. Turns out that Chuck don't, hang on a second, let me get that punchline right. Turns out that Chuck don't take crap from nobody. That was a long way to get to that line. Next time we're just doing the Chuck Norris can slam a revolving door. All right, folks, we're sending you on a revolving door on over to Vacation Radio, where you're going to have a good time. Let it play all night long. You'll be dancing in your dreams, and you'll make our dreams come true as we work towards the monetization of the channel. Until the next time, we have the honor of spending time with you, which, by the way, will be tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, and then the Pro Show at noon. We'll see you soon. Folks, we love you. We care about you. We appreciate you and your scene.
The mainstream media just can't understand how it is we continue to do what we do. They don't realize that we are powered by you, and you are
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
Folks, we've still got decades and decades left in the can. It drives the mainstream mad.
Would it make you feel any better if you knew that what we're asking Matt here to do is a holy thing?
You see, we're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God.
Now you're gonna put me right back in the joint!
They're not gonna catch us. We're on a mission from God.
So, folks, as we always say as we end each and every show here, and we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Every time they hit him, he stood back up again. So they hit him harder. Still, he got back to his feet. Standing man.